It's been a long time coming, but it finally happened. What exactly? You'll have to stay tuned to find out. Whether it's the latest industry news, noteworthy sales, or developing stories, that's what we do here. We keep you informed on all things Pokemon. Anyway, today's episode of Breaking News is one that you certainly don't want to miss. I'm Pokemon Classics, and I invite you to join me for this month's recap. Let's roll the intro. Hey everybody, what's up from Pokemon Classics, reminding you that the classics never go out of style. Today we're breaking down the top 5 news stories in Pokemon, along with some of my own personal thoughts and commentary on each. That is my goal on this channel after all, is to keep you informed whether it's the good, the bad, or the ugly. Also, as is tradition on this series, don't forget to stick around to the end of the video for my top 5 content recommendations. These are some of the best PokeTuber videos of the month, and I'd highly encourage you to give each one of them a watch. Anyway, let's dive into our first story. The first story on this list is a bit personal and a long time in the making, but Ash Ketchum is officially a Pokemon master. Originally debuting in Japan in 1997, the Pokemon anime has followed Ash on his journey to become the world's greatest Pokemon trainer for over 25 years, with quite a few ups and downs along the way. However, on November 11th, Ash and Pikachu defeated Leon in the latest episode of Pokemon Ultimate Journeys, where he claimed the championship title in the Pokemon World Coronation Series Master 8 tournament. That's a lot to say. Consider this a sort of tournament of champions in which regional champions are bracketed together to prove who is truly the very best. It's fair to say that Ash has come a long way in these 25 years, especially for someone who really hasn't aged. Now, just for context, Ash has experienced success before, including in 2019 when he became a Alola champion after defeating Gladion, but this is a bit different. This achievement marks the fulfillment of Ash's initial goal from the very first episode to become the greatest Pokemon trainer in the world. And I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty nostalgic. Now, for full disclosure, I don't generally watch the anime, though I was highly invested in the early seasons of the show, but this is something that I would consider mandatory viewing. And while the animation styles and battle mechanics have changed considerably over the years, the spirit of the show remains the same, embracing the journey of life and becoming the best version of ourselves, and that's a message I can fully support. Anyway, you'll have to let me know what you think of Ash's journey and where you think Pokemon will take the anime from here. Could Pokemon be bringing Ash's story arc to a close to focus on new adventures with new protagonists? Or is this just another milestone on Ash's journey? Personally, I'm curious to learn more about what the future holds for our favorite Pokemon trainer. Speaking of favorite Pokemon trainers and their noteworthy accomplishments, Zach, better known as Gem Mint Pokemon, recently revealed a monumental collection edition, this PSA 10 Unlimited Ampharos from Neo Revelation. Now, for those of you that are unaware, this card has been a population of 1 for a really long time, making it impossible to acquire. But recently, a second copy was graded, and Gem Mint was quick to secure it for his collection, which on its own is impressive enough. However, this card was the last card needed to complete Zach's entire Wizards of the Coast Holo collection in PSA 10 condition, an accomplishment that's never been done before and may never be replicated. To put the magnitude of this collection into perspective, we're talking every Wizards of the Coast Holo, both Unlimited and First Edition, in PSA 10 condition. That's hundreds of PSA 10 Holos, many with single-digit populations. He even collected the entire First Edition base set in both thick and thin stamp variants in PSA 10. It's an amazing collection and a journey that Zach has been documenting here on YouTube for at least as far back as 2012, 2013, when he started posting collection videos. As a fellow collector pursuing my own First Edition PSA 10 Holo sets, I really can't overstate the symbolic significance of this accomplishment or the positive impact Zach has made on the collecting community. For many of us, Zach was an inspiration to start collecting PSA sets and would provide helpful advice for collecting and grading cards, long before that information was accessible online like it is today. In fact, I know I have some old emails corresponding back and forth with Zach from over a decade ago, and he was always kind enough to answer some of my questions and provide advice when I first started grading with PSA myself. We even arranged some trades and helped each other out in those early days. So congratulations to you, Zach. It's amazing. But anyway, that's just who Zach is. If you've ever met him or watched his videos, he's the most positive and humble collector in the industry. And that's what I admire most about him. His positivity and enthusiasm really are infectious, and he's always the first to acknowledge the role that the rest of the community has played in his collection acquisitions. Anyway, I really can't think of anyone more deserving of this accomplishment. If you haven't done so already, make sure you go check out Zach's video and leave him a positive comment or a congratulatory message. I'll leave the link for the video down in the description below. Our next story is one with a complicated past, but in the last couple of months, rumors have been circulating that we may once again see Kadabra printed and released as part of the Pokemon trading card game. Now, just for context, Pokemon hasn't produced or distributed Kadabra cards since the Sky Ridge set in 2002 due to a lawsuit filed by Israeli illusionist Uri Geller. Allegedly, Kadabra's name in Japanese is similar to Uri Geller's name, and when combined with the fact that Uri is famous for bending spoons with his mind, the magician took issue and sued the Pokemon Company for stealing his likeness. In total, I believe Geller was seeking $85 million from Nintendo, and to me, that seems a little bit excessive. Although the initial lawsuit was dismissed in 2003, Geller filed additional lawsuits in other regions, prompting Nintendo to desist from producing or distributing Kadabra entirely for the last 20 years. However, in 2020, Geller changed his mind and publicly apologized for the lawsuits all those years later, relinquishing any objections to the Pokemon Company's use of Kadabra. It seems the relationship between Geller and Nintendo have further improved in these last 2 years, with Geller hinting that Kadabra could be returning to the Pokemon trading card game as early as December. An article published on PokeBeach.com this fall features a series of photos from Uri Geller's personal museum detailing his correspondence with Pokemon CEO Ishihara, along with framed Kadabra cards. These letters specifically address his desire to see Kadabra return to the trading card game, and even suggested in the interview that a return may be underway already. This has led many fans to speculate that a Kadabra may officially return with the coming release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which is rumored to have a focus on evolutionary sets. Personally, Alakazam has always been my favorite Pokemon, and although Alakazam has made numerous appearances as a basic Pokemon, exploiting some novel game mechanics over the years, I'd really like to see the full evolutionary set return as it was originally intended. With December just around the corner, maybe we're in for some unexpected holiday magic. In other international news, the Pokemon Company recently announced that the Pokemon TCG would soon be printed in simplified Chinese, the newest language for the card game with a potentially massive market. For those unaware, Pokemon previously announced a traditional Chinese translation of the cards in 2019. However, simplified Chinese remains the dominant language used by mainland China, particularly among the younger generations. This announcement, made on Pokemon China's website in late September, was later accompanied by a promotional video showcasing the newly translated cards, announcing their expected release on October 28th. Obviously, this is pretty big news for a number of reasons. First, China is the most heavily populated country in the world, so translating and marketing cards for this region makes a lot of sense from a business perspective. It's no secret that Pokemon is rapidly expanding its production, with reports that last year alone, Pokemon produced over 9 billion cards globally. With the addition of mainland China as a new emerging market, there's a significant opportunity for growth amongst a whole new demographic of potential players and collectors. More important is the accessibility. Pokemon has always prided itself on being a global franchise with the ability to cross political and cultural barriers. In fact, the translation of Pokemon cards into simplified Chinese brings the total number of unique available languages up to 12, which is pretty impressive when you consider the amount of infrastructure needed to design, translate, distribute, and oversee the unique production of each. Anyway, it's unclear yet what, if any, impact this will have on the Pokemon market moving forward. If this new production run will shift existing Chinese collectors away from other productions like Japanese or English cards, or if it'll have the complete opposite effect and funnel an entirely new consumer base toward those markets. Personally, I'm just happy to see that others have the opportunity to experience what I experienced growing up, collecting, trading, and playing the card game with childhood friends, and I sincerely hope that that's what comes from this announcement. Let me know what your thoughts are on Pokemon's big announcement and how you think it may impact the TCG moving forward. Finally, we'll wrap up this month's news by recapping a landmark auction, a CGC 9.5 Pikachu Illustrator card. Now, if you're unaware, the Pikachu Illustrator card is unequivocally regarded as the holy grail of the Pokemon trading card game, with an estimated 24 PSA-graded copies currently in circulation. Several copies of this card have traded hands recently, with a PSA 7 Pikachu Illustrator selling for $720,000 at auction in March, a PSA 9 copy purchased by Logan Paul for $1.275 million back in April, and most recently, a PSA 8 copy selling for $480,000 just in October. However, this particular copy, which graded a CGC 9.5, was a bit of an outlier. On the one hand, it's one of the highest graded copies known to exist, just below Logan Paul's Gem Mint PSA 10, but on the other hand, it was graded by CGC, a less established grading company, particularly amongst high-end trophy cards. At the conclusion of the auction, this copy of the Illustrator ended up selling for $672,000, well below the $1.275 million baseline established by Logan Paul months earlier for a copy in comparable condition. Of course, $672,000 is nothing to scoff at, but the valuation has led to quite a bit of speculation across the market. Is the broader market decline for Pokemon cards permeating into the high-end market, or has the number of Pikachu Illustrators hitting the market hurt its perceived rarity? Or is it possible that the less established grading company of CGC acted as a deterrent for higher-end collectors and investors? I don't know. It certainly seems to me that there is some downward pressure on high-profile cards like the Pikachu Illustrator or the first edition base set Charizard, but these are well-established cards and grail items for many collectors across the world. I expect they'll be fine over time. Anyway, you'll have to let me know what you think about the Pikachu Illustrator sale down in the comments below. Anyway, guys, before I unveil my top 5 videos of the month, consider hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel. I put hours and hours of work into each of these videos, and your support goes a long way in keeping me motivated and staying on the grind with these videos. But anyway, I truly appreciate you all for watching, so let's roll into the top 5. For anyone that's ever watched Dan's channel before, you know that he is a never-ending source of insightful Pokemon market data, history, and information, but you're also probably familiar with his not financial advice disclaimers. However, in this video, Dan flipped the script, making an entire video about just that, financial advice. He even has his own PowerPoint slides dialed in to drive home his personal finance tips. Personally, I always enjoy a good financial education video, and that's exactly what Dan delivers in this one. Sound financial advice and some basic fundamentals of collecting. It's a fun video and one that I can't recommend enough. Definitely go watch it. Speaking of fun, one of my favorite channels belongs to PokemonDNA, and if you haven't visited his videos before, you simply need to. DNA spends a meticulous amount of time planning, filming, and editing his videos, and it really shows. In particular, I wanted to showcase this video highlighting the journey of buying a massive collection of Japanese first edition E-Series holos, some of which would enter DNA's personal collection, and others resold. I got to see some of these cards firsthand at Collecticon in Denver, and they're absolutely stunning. Anyway, this video is a perfect blend of storytelling, market data, and collecting strategy, and definitely one that I think you guys would enjoy. Next, if you're not familiar with Peekdatchu's channel, he's a fellow Pokemon collector and podcaster on a mission to document the backstories of some of the most notable collectors within the community. I even had the privilege of appearing on one of his podcasts a few months ago alongside PokemonDNA. However, his second to last episode with Blastoise Kid was absolutely wild. Blastoise Kid, John Brooks, was one of the highest rated players in the early days of the trading card game, with multiple awards and championships to his name. Recently rediscovering his boxes of Pokemon items, John spent the entire stream casually showing off some ridiculously rare and historic items of early Pokemon. It was a fever dream that you just need to see to believe. Now, it's no secret that SMPratte is my personal go-to channel for Pokemon history and market commentary. And as a fellow YouTuber, I'm continually impressed by his ability to just sit down and film his videos in one continuous take without any editing. It's really impressive. I don't get it. Anyway though, in this video, Scott reflects on the current state of the Pokemon market by contextualizing it within the larger historical framework. His conclusion is that Pokemon is on hard mode for sellers and collectors, comparatively to the last few years. In this video, he specifically discusses the nuances of increased competition, financial risk-taking, and emotional investment that has become normalized in the hobby. It's a fascinating reflection, and one that I hope sparks further conversation and reflection within the whole community. Definitely check this one out. Lastly, let's wrap it up with everyone's favorite Pokemon detective and whistleblower, Rattle Pokemon. Now, Rattle is no stranger to calling out Pokemon scams, and in this video, Rattle exposes a potential storage unit scam filled with extremely rare and valuable Pokemon and Magic the Gathering cards. Now, obviously, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. However, that doesn't discredit the value of Rattle's work. Videos like this one are great educational tools for new collectors and help bring awareness to different types of fraud and how best to prevent or avoid them moving forward. As usual, it's some great detective work from Rattle and is worthy of acknowledgement on this episode's top 5 list. Well guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Breaking News, where we break down some of the most important Pokemon news stories each month, except for the months when we don't because I'm a busy guy. Let me know what your thoughts are on these stories down in the comments below, and if there are any major news stories that I missed, definitely send them my way. Anyway guys, I'm Pokemon Classics, reminding you that the classics never go out of style. Thanks for spending the time with me today, and we'll see y'all with the next video. Stay well, everybody. Hey guys, I just wanted to say a quick thanks to my patrons for supporting the channel. If you have any interest in becoming a patron yourself, check out the link to my Patreon below. For more market analysis videos, you can click on one of these two. They're pretty good, at least I think so. Anyway, you should go check them out. I dare you. I don't really know what else to say, so I'll just disappear now. Bye-bye.